Hello, this is Davo again. I wanted to give you a quick overview of some of the UI features in Macrosutra. This is just for beginners, just to get you right in the game. So the file menu, let's go through the menu at first. The file menu just lets you exit. The plugins, plugins are extensions of Macrosutra that can be custom made by you or some of the Macrosutra team. You can see these two up here are UI based, and this one is going to be available in your code. That's what this little divisor line here. If you have more of them, there'll be more down. The windows are very much like any other Windows menu item in Windows, um, in any application in Windows, I should say. The console window, these are going to hide different panels that you find in our main thing here. Error list and console are these two. You can hide that. See, the error list now went away, and you can easily bring it back by just clicking right there. This project selector is on this page right here, this tab. When you add more tabs to this area, you will see another items that come down here, and you can easily switch between the tabs that way. This is a quick link to our online reference, which will open up our wiki. This is the Solution Explorer. Any of these side panels can easily be taken down and docked anywhere you like. So if you drag this up here, now our Solution Explorer is docked to the top. If you want to put it back over here, you just select the area that you'd like it to go, and it'll easily go back there. This is the variable monitor. By default, it shows up at the beginning. You can set that however you like. If you close this and close this and reopen Macrosutra, you'll notice that that is not there. If you want to get it back, these two buttons right here control the Solution Explorer and the game variables. So there you go. My point is that Macrosutra remembers the last panel schema that you had set up. So if I want my Solution Explorer on the left side, because that's what I'm used to, then you can do that. You can close, and hopefully, yes, you can see that it did start on the left side. So I prefer it on the right side. That's why it's there. This little toolbar right here lets you quickly open different files and projects if you wanted to. This is the memory tools section. Hence the little toolbox and the drop down that says memory tools. Memory search is where you're going to go to search for different things in memory of your games. Memory view is going to give you an actual live view of the memory in real time. Module map is going to show you the Windows-based modules as they're loaded into a specific process. So that's kind of interesting. All these will be covered in detail later on. The start and stop buttons are going to run a project or stop a project. So just real quickly, you can see that the JScript project, we want to create a new JScript project. This is the directory that it's going to be created in. This is going to include typical references that you need to run the project. These are going to be .NET references or whatever else that you need. This dot means the default installation directory for Macrosutra. Click Add. Wait just a second, and your new project is created along with this solution. Later on, we're going to have the ability to add multiple projects to the same solution, but for right now, it's just one project per solution. If you double click a program, a file, you'll see that it opens up here. You can type and save that and close that file here. If you reopen it, you can see that it's definitely saved. If you want to quickly close a tab, you can middle click on this and it'll close it for you. Be aware though that if you middle click on it, it does not ask you to save it. So you need to be aware of that. If you want to go, if you opened a whole bunch of tabs and they're eventually off the screen, these two buttons will scroll through all your tabs. Earlier I mentioned that this would show all your tabs, and indeed it does. So if I wanted to switch back to the project selector, this is really just so when you get a whole bunch of different files open, you'll be able to switch between them. I'll quickly go through how to edit a solution. If I wanted to edit the name of the solution, change the name. Ta-da. Running on a separate thread, if you're not familiar with threading, you probably want to do more research than I'm about to tell you, but briefly, a process can simultaneously run multiple threads, meaning I can do the same action, I can do different actions under the same process. What we're saying here is that if I was to check this, I want my script, in this case, the script project 2, to run in a different thread than the UI is rendered for Macrosutra. Everything's going to be run under the same process as Macrosutra, but I want a separate thread, meaning that Macrosutra is going to update independently of my process, and typically that's what we want to do. So that's why it's defaulted checked. A game file can be created, and what this does is allows you to create game variables and all the properties associated with a game without having to create to set it up for every project that you create. And more on that in the game file creation tutorial. So, but that's it in a nutshell for the solutions properties. The project also has properties, and very similarly, you can set the name of the project, and you can see that changed to the JScript project 2. The startup module and startup method, this is going to be later on whenever we have multiple different projects, you'll be able to set this. That's fine, but right now it's not used. Okay, as I mentioned in the error earlier, the error list is down here. The error list allows you to see after you execute your project. Well, that won't work, but you can see right here we're getting an error because the script control couldn't load properly because we didn't have things set up properly. We haven't added a game file to this, so it's going to give you an error, but you can see that you get a handy little screen here. The console window is going to give you the ability to see output from your scripts, as well as some of the things that go on behind the scenes from Macrosutra. The variable monitor is after you set up a game file, the output of that game file is a concept called game variables. These variables will be updated from your game in real time or at a rate that you can specify here. Well, that's a quick overview of the different things in Macrosutra, different UI elements in Macrosutra. If you need more information, go to our wiki or look for new tutorials later. Thanks. Bye-bye.